A brief history of the instruments of Puerto Rico. Some of the instruments used in traditional Puerto Rican music originate with the Taino people. Most noteworthy is the guachiro or guiro, a noted allowed outchord which was dated from the pre-Columbian days. The music tradition of the Spanish and Africans can also be heard in Puerto Rico's music. At least four different instruments were dated from the six string Spanish classical guitars: the requinto, the bornua, the cuatro, and the tiple, each of which produce a unique tone and pitch. And the most popular of these, one of for which greatest number of attentions and compositions have been written, is the cuatro, a guitar-like instrument and with 10 strings, arrayed in 5 different pairs. Also prevalent on the island are such as percussion instruments as tambours, allowed tree trunks covered with stretched-out animal skin, maracas, gourds filled with pebbles or dried beans and mounted on handles, and a variant of drums whose original designs were brought from Africa by the island slaves. All these instruments contribute to the rich variety of folk music produced in the cultural melting pot of the island Spanish, African, and Taino traditions.
Folk music in Puerto Rico. The term folk music is taken to mean music genres that have flourished without elite support and have evolved independently of the commercial mass media. The realm of Puerto Rican folk music will comprise the primarily Hispanic derived Jirabo music, the Afro-Puerto Rican bomba, and the essentially Creole. As these three genres evolve in Puerto Rico are unique to that island. They occupy a respected place in island culture, even if they are not currently as popular as contemporary musics like salsa or reggaeton. Bolero in Puerto Rico. The bolero originally derived from Cuba, but by the 1920s it was being both enjoyed as well as composed and performed by Puerto Ricans, including such outstanding figures like Rafael Hernández and Pedro Flores. There are not distinctively Puerto Rican features such as singing lelolai or playing the cuatro interboleros, but it would be pointless to go on regarding the bolero solely as a Cuban genre. It is of course a Cuban genre, but since the 1920s it has also been an international genre, including a Puerto Rican one. The main differences are found in the musical arrangements and subject matter history of the instruments of Puerto Rico.
Now, I'm going to talk about other musical rhythms such as the bomba and the jibara, and how they have influenced the music of Puerto Rico. So, let's get started. Bomba is a musical genre created in Puerto Rico, mainly in coastal areas with the highest concentration of slaves. The towns of Mayagüez, Cangrejos, Loiza, Ponce, among others, were the cradle of the various styles that make up the Puerto Rican bomba. Usually, when explaining these diverse styles, they are grouped by these geographic regions. However, throughout Puerto Rico, some general characteristics can be found in the bomba. In Jibara music, there's a great variety of musical styles that are developed in the countryside. Among them, the mazurka, the paso doble, the polka, and the waltz, which have a totally European origin, and here they are creolized. But the sizes and aguinaldos are a purely Puerto Rican creation, are the main styles of the Jibara music. Within the styles that are considered sixes, there are more than 100 styles, in major and minor keys, in fast and slow rhythms, in binary and ternary measure, with simple and complex progression. In short, there's a style of six for every taste and occasion. There are also approximately 20 types of aguinaldos with the same diversity as in the sixes.
Classical music in Puerto Rico. During the conversion of Puerto Rico's Almerians and slaves to Christianity after its colonization by the early Spanish, the only formal music imported from Spain was chant and religious music. Later, however, as the fortunes of a handful of Puerto Rican planters increased during the 19th century, their social aspiration grew as well. Thus, whose children showed musical promise were after sent abroad, usually to Spain, for the future development of their talent. One of these was Puerto Rican born Manuel Tavares, a composer whose orchestral techniques matured within the musical tradition of 19th century Spain, and whose success encouraged other generations of Puerto Rican classics to follow in the footsteps. Salsa music in Puerto Rico. The major type of music coming out of Puerto Rico is salsa. The rhythm of the island, its name literally translates as the sauce that makes party happen. Originally developed within the Puerto Rican community of New York, it draws heavily from the musical roots of the Cuban and the African Caribbean experience. Highly danceable, its rhythms are hot, urban, rhythmically sophisticated, and completing. Today, the center of salsa has probably shifted from New York back to Puerto Rico. Salsa is not an old form of music at all. Music critics claim that it originated in New York City nightclubs in the years following World War II, an evolution of the era's big band tradition. The first great salsa musician was Tito Puente, who, after a stint with the USA Navy, studied percussion at New York's Juilliard World School of Music. He went on to organize his own band, Puente's Latin Jazz Ensemble, which has been heard by the audience around the world. One critic said that the music is what resulted when the sounds of big band jazz met African Caribbean roots. The critical salsa's combination of fast Latin music that embraces the rumba, mambo, cha-cha-cha, guanaco, and merengue. Salsa has definitely made Puerto Rico famous in the world of international music. Salsa bands require access to a huge array of percussion instruments, including güiros, the grounds on which Taino people who have played music. Other instruments include maracas, bombos, tambos, drums, and claves, and throughout the jibaro. A climbing cowbell, of course, it also takes a bass, a horn section, a chorus, and a lead vocalist to get the combination right. I think that classical music and salsa music from Puerto Rico are the best and have a good rhythm to dance with someone.
After to hear all of this information about Puerto Rico, I think this is one of the most greatest place to visit, and not just only for the beautiful the places, the hotel, the beach, or the tours that you can do. I think this is a good option because the culture over there, the people, the nice people, it's one of the greatest things that you have to know. And if you are traveling around the world with your family, with your girlfriend, boyfriend, or just only you, I think Puerto Rico is a great option that you have to go. And Puerto Rico is open at you and is waiting for you to meet all these beautiful and amazing